Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A live look at Exact Track 4D radar. Snow moving through Metro Detroit, and that's not all. The forewarned weather team tracking a bitter cold Tuesday coming our way across southeast Michigan. Glad you're with us for Local 4 News at 11. I'm Devin Skillion.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Karen Drew in for Kimberly Gill. Let's get right over to Kim Adams with a look at the current conditions. What's in store when you wake up? It's a little messy out there right now.
It is in a few areas. We have a snow squall warning. That might sound new to you. It's much like a severe thunderstorm warning, where it's a very specific area, and you can see it just expired. So it expired at 11 o'clock, but it's still snowing in this area right here. It's just south of I-94, goes from Ann Arbor over into the downriver area. And what happens is you get these bursts of snow, and it just doesn't let up. So we're going to zoom in here for you. Woodhaven, Riverview, Flat Rock, Belleville, Romulus, all getting these bursts of snow. So you might be driving along and just have a few flurries, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with the reduced visibilities. But as we go up into parts of Oakland and Macomb counties, just a couple of flurries, but the roads are still snow covered in many areas, and our road temperatures are below freezing. So we do have to worry about some ice out in Northville and Plymouth, snow-covered roads there in many areas, also Livonia and Westland. So if you do have to travel tonight, just keep that in mind. Now let's talk briefly about temperatures. We're in the 20s, but wind chills are already down into the teens, and we'll go all the way to the single digits by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. But then we're in the upper 40s at one point this week. We'll talk about when coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Kim. Appreciate it.
Our other top story tonight, the Coast Guard working into the night on a plan to free a massive freighter that is still stuck in the Detroit River.
Take a live look. Right now, the ship you see there has been stuck since this morning near Belle Isle. The Coast Guard's plan won't be put into motion until tomorrow. Victor Williams has been keeping a close eye on this for us all day long. So where do things stand at this hour, Victor?
Yeah, Karen and Devin, it looks like this freighter is going to be just staying here until 8 in the morning. That's when crews will resume their efforts to make it float again and then get it back into open water. But they're also hoping to take a deeper dive into why this happened.
For such an unfortunate incident, we're very thankful that there are no injuries, the crew is safe. There's no impact to the environment.
Lieutenant Adib Ahmad with the U.S. Coast Guard on the 623-foot freighter currently stuck in the Detroit River.
Currently, the refloat plan to free the vessel, it's been approved, and it's going to commence tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. The reason being is due to safety reasons for night operations and the weather.
The freighter was heading to Italy with 21,000 tons of wheat from Thunder Bay, Ontario. It's believed the anchor somehow ended up dragging, resulting in a damaged bow thruster, leaving the vessel inoperable, and an up-close and personal view of the ship for spectators.
I thought I'd come down here and get a few pictures of her. This is the first time I've seen it this close, and I had to get out the car and see what was going on.
Once the freighter is refloated, the investigation begins to determine the exact cause of the anchor dragging to begin with. Turns out, this isn't the first vessel to go aground recently. The Coast Guard will now work with the Army Corps of Engineers to figure out why.
The two groundings that happened this year in the same area, the causes are not similar, so the Coast Guard is not concerned about it. However, the survey will continue to determine if there's any need for additional dredging.
And we know that two tugboats worked all day to try to get this vessel back to where it's supposed to be. But we're hearing that tomorrow there may be another one that they're bringing in to make sure that does happen. And of course, we'll be here to give everyone a closer look on the Detroit River. Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, we do appreciate it. Thanks so much, Victor. And we'll continue to follow the efforts to free the freighter in the Detroit River. Coming up tomorrow morning, we are going to talk live with members of the Coast Guard on their latest plan. Our coverage begins at 4:30 a.m. Also tonight, Clinton Township Police are working to figure out the cause of death after a body was found in a vent at Macomb Community College. The discovery was made yesterday at the school's Center for the Performing Arts in Clinton Township as crews were looking for that source of a foul odor. The body was identified as 36-year-old Jason Thompson of Clinton Township. He was reported missing on November 1st. Police say they do not suspect foul play as a factor.
New at 11, the entire command staff of the Michigan State Police Flint post are placed on administrative leave amid an investigation. Spokesperson with State Police says 3 commanders were placed on leave last week. It is in connection with an internal investigation into the promotion process. 3rd District Assistant Commander temporarily in command of the Flint post. Now, they do not anticipate any disruption to public services or post operations.
Residents in White Lake Township still have some unanswered questions tonight after a fire and explosion just rocked the community at an oil refinery. Happened late Friday night near Bogey Lake and Young Roads in White Lake Township. Officials confirming the crude oil within the refinery caught fire, causing explosions. Residents who had to evacuate are now concerned about the chemicals that could be flowing in the drinking water or perhaps even in the air.
A new group of 11 freed hostages back in Israel tonight. This is the ceasefire in Gaza expands now for another 48 hours. Move comes after several hostage exchanges over the weekend, with the first American hostage released yesterday, a 4-year-old American-Israeli citizen. No Americans, though, included in today's exchange, but there is hope after the extended truce, which will now go through Thursday morning, barring another extension, of course. Since the truce started, Hamas released a total of 69 hostages. Israel has freed 150 Palestinians. Excuse me. Michigan's former linebackers coach clarifying why he was fired from the program earlier this month.
Yes, Chris Partridge was let go by the university on November 17th during the Big Ten and NCAA investigations into Michigan's alleged stealing sign scheme. Now, Partridge released a statement on social media today sharing his side of the story now that the Wolverines' regular season is over. The statement reads in part, "I want to be clear, I had no knowledge whatsoever of any in-person or illegal scouting or illegal sign stealing. Additionally, at no point did I destroy any evidence related to an ongoing investigation. I was terminated because of a failure to abide by the university directive not to discuss an ongoing NCAA investigation with anyone associated with the Michigan football program." Now, we did post the full statement on our homepage of clickondetroit.com. Michigan will face Iowa in the Big Ten championship game on Saturday. Speaking of football, NFL season may be in high gear, but city officials are prepping for the league's next big event after the Super Bowl.
Talking about the NFL draft set to take place in downtown Detroit. City and state leaders came together today at Ford Field to give us a sneak peek of the plans, such as they are at this point, and what impact the draft will have on the city. Pamela Osborne live tonight. Officials believe this is going to do huge things for the economy, Pam.
It certainly is, Devin. You know, we are in the most wonderful time of the year. You see that with all the Christmas lights behind me here, but you also see this countdown to one of the busiest sporting events of the year, and that, of course, is the NFL draft. We know that businesses, just like the city of Detroit, are preparing for the 300,000+ people who are expected to come here to attend.
In 150 days, we are going to welcome America to the city of Detroit, and I can't wait.
When the NFL draft comes to town, it's bringing with it hundreds of thousands of fans and maybe even some first-time visitors to the city of Detroit.
We are going to hold the NFL draft in the heart of downtown Detroit. So you'll be a part of the city, the businesses will be a part of it, and people who have only read about Detroit in the national newspapers will get a chance to see the beauty for themselves.
Events will take place around Campus Martius and Hart Plaza, the restaurants and businesses nearby expecting to see a boost. Some local businesses, with the help of the Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance, are already positioning themselves to handle more than just the increased foot traffic.
To date, we have successfully certified local businesses, making them eligible to potentially secure contracts related to the NFL draft.
So how much money is at stake? According to officials in Kansas City, where the 2023 NFL draft was hosted, the 3-day event generated more than $164 million in economic impact, that number exceeding their own projections. And going into the NFL draft in Kansas City, they were expecting about $100 million of economic impact. They did that in direct economic impact. And then there was another $50+ million of indirect impact. So a lot going on. We can only hope to repeat some of those numbers here in Detroit. By the way, this NFL experience, there are going to be all sorts of hands-on things that fans can get into. And in order to make sure all of that goes smoothly, they are looking for people to work those jobs. So you have to check on those, which are open right now. You can start the application process at visitdetroit.com. And there's one more really positive thing that's coming out of all of this. $1 million donation is going to go towards literacy programs as well as active play here in the city of Detroit and surrounding communities. So a big win for everybody all around. Reporting live tonight in Detroit, I'm Pamela Osborne. Local 4.
It's really going to be something. Let's hope we do it without snow, however, Pamela, which is not out of the question, of course, in April, right? Yeah. All right, Pamela. Let's stay with football for a moment. A new era of Spartan football begins tomorrow. Jonathan Smith is going to be introduced as the university's head football coach. We will bring you his introductory news conference live on Local 4 News at noon. Our Hobie Artigue will be live in East Lansing, so join us tomorrow. Again, Local 4 News at noon for our first real talk with Jonathan Smith. Yeah.